Sharen, maybe you can just talk about your studio, show some work and what it means for you.
It's quite interesting at the moment because this one I just removed from the outside of a house while they decorated it, and they asked me to check it over also while I took it away. So yesterday I did a kind of conservation work on this one. So now it's ready to go back again as soon as they want. So this is 13 years old. And then I have the European Capital of Culture mosaic. This is something very beautiful to see in the Attican Theatre. You can see the original. It's quite big, much bigger than this. And of course, when you get the sunlight on it, it's absolutely fabulous. And the people made it. So the objective of this was, it was €1 a tile. People put €1 for the tile in a pot. And we raised just over 3,000 for the hospice in Paphos with this one. And now it's in a public place, outdoor place, and beautiful to see. In fact, quite a bit of in the studio are professional photographs of my work in their location that they were actually designed for. So these two pieces, here and here, they're actually in the Coral Beach Hotel, and I came up with the concept actually for the hotel. So it was all about copper work, vases from, you know, that feeling of vases from antiquity, boats, you know, the ships, we're on an island, and then I used the materials as they kind of naturally are. So this is copper, which copper used to be mined in Cyprus. And then the beautiful sort of verdigris greeny colour is the oxidation of copper. So, you know, it was quite, for me, a sympathetic use of materials to combine those two. And this actually shows here the base that I had to create. So in order to make that, I had to create the actual base for it, because it's optical. It's not a vase that's round. Yes. It had to be made to fit into the alcove. So they're seen in the Dionysos bar at the Coral Beach Hotel. This is I did a whole series of work on illusions. So this is actually an illusion. It's a square within a square. There's another really nice one at the Evangelismos Hospital, which is a huge big circle, like a tied up knot, but it's very big. So that's there. This is work combining mosaic tiles, hand-cut glass, and this is actually a tabletop. So you see lovely movement of the tiles around. I always love the spacing and creating movement around pieces. This is quite an early piece, this one. So I had a drawing of the shape, quite an organic shape. And this was the template, if you like, of a much bigger one. I made one that was 3 times the size of that. Yes, yes. So
I really liked it.
And also you can put, you can, if you want, you can put light behind and it will show through. But it was very nice because I worked with a guy who did steel work, and it was so fascinating because he kept the steel, which is such a hard material, he kept it exactly on my drawing. So it's an exact replica of the drawing I did.
Sharen, and how many hours per day you work?
Different. Sometimes if I get involved in something, like I was doing the conservation of this piece yesterday, I was working for 8 hours. I just couldn't stop until I saw that I was happy and complete, felt good about it. So.
And what time do you usually wake up in the morning?
Oh, in the morning I'm awake at 6, but either I'm swimming in the sea, winter and summer.
Every day?
Not every day, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and I also have a passion for dragon boating, so I'm training for that as well.
Great.
Yeah, so that's nice. My sort of relaxed time, and then I'm energized when I come to work. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe we can start. And I saw a lot of things here to preparing for.
This is really my supply of materials. So when I'm teaching and I have the students, they have access to all these beautiful Italian bizarre tiles. I think I have about 75, 80 different colors, and then the beautiful ones on the top, which have all this lovely copper work in. And then over here, I have all the matte tiles. And I think now we have about 25. Yeah.
Great.
And we get a bit mixed up because my space is my space and student space. So as you can see, we have some students here today. This is my supply of glass. I would say that this mixture of glass with tiles mosaic, I started 24 years ago, and this is a very good example of one of the first pieces I did with tile, stone, so multiple materials. And this is again much bigger, and it's outside and was designed for somebody. In this you can see an influence from Klimt, the artist also.
Great.
And I did a big series of work from him, a lot of work from his, inspired by him as an artist.
And who else your favorite artist and who inspires you?
My favorite artist. I have also, so Klimt I'm very fond of, and it was very important actually to see his work when I went to Vienna. In Vienna, yes, because I was very inspired also by the space that he had. So he may have had this very detailed work, but the kiss, for example.
Yeah.
You only see the kiss and the face and all the detail. But when you see the original, there's a huge space, like an empty space, which is very important to have. And I've created it, let's say, in the lizard. So you have this complication and detail and color and shiny, and then it was very important with this one to go for that plain background. Just because it settles it into the overall image, I think.
Great. Dear Sharen, and could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm Sharen. Do you want my history here in Cyprus?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I came to Cyprus 37 years ago. So they sent me here to work for 3 months to restore all the Chalcolithic pottery for Edinburgh University's excavation. And that's now, and still is, on display in the Paphos Archaeological Museum. And it's quite passionate for me to just go and visit every now and again just to see these beautiful pieces, because they really are beautiful earthenwares. And then during that time we had the find of the century. They called it the find of the century. It was a cult bowl with 27 figurines, 26 females and 1 male. And it was so, I don't know, it was such an emotional connection to the earth feeling when I had all these figurines. I had to go and lift them, first of all, from the site, so from their burial situation. And then I took them to my made-up conservation lab in a little hut on a tray, and then I cleaned them. And to be the first person to see this decoration for 4,500 years is mind-blowing. So it was, I felt very connected immediately to Cyprus from this. Anyway, I have to cut a long story short. I was offered a work permit by the Director of Antiquities then to work for all foreign missions, private collectors and small museums. So I came back to Cyprus 6 months later and gave myself 2 years in Cyprus to see how successful I could be in being here. And I'm still here 5 years later. So I had wonderful work with archaeological missions, the Getty Conservation Institute came here, so that's when I became involved in archaeological sites. So they were doing massive international programs on training people on the conservation of archaeological sites. And of course, most of the sites in the Mediterranean have mosaics. So this involved the conservation of sites with mosaics. So I ended up specialising at that point more on mosaic work, and I got a grant or a sponsorship from the Getty to do research on the House of Dionysos in Paphos, and this was a very intimate, close connection with the floors, with the mosaic floors. So I had a team of people, and we were on hands and knees, and we had to document the condition of each individual tessera on the mythological scene floor in the House of Dionysos. And I collaborated obviously with the Getty with all this, and they provided the scientific backing and everything, and then I was lecturing on my discoveries, on a historical survey that I also did through black and white photographs, interviews with people that I could that were still alive when the mosaics were discovered in the 60s. That all came to an end for me in 2000, and then I was just inspired to open up a workshop, and my objective was to carry on the cultural heritage of mosaic making in modern materials. So in 2001 I had my first workshop in Paphos, and I started immediately teaching, and my first large commission was Aphrodite Hills Golf Club. So this actually was a combination of not just my conservation background and mosaics, but prior to doing the Institute of Archaeology in London, from school I did a fine art degree. So for me this was a combination of everything I'd ever learnt really, and then I had the opportunity to put in design work, and and that's what you see here. So I've had this workshop I moved into in 2017. It's been a boost of energy when I came here because it's more open to public, which I was a bit afraid of initially, but actually
it's really in the center of the city.
But it's so nice to share my experiences, and that's what I do now. I give everything I know to my students. Yes.
How many people usually come to you during per week, and you have some course, for several months?
Yes, I have. It's difficult to say how many per week, but I do a 6-week course.
6-week
and
course.
I have anywhere between 3 and maximum 5 students, so it's very personal. That's my 6-week masterclass. It's called 3 Projects, 3 Techniques. And then I have, for the sake of being here, I have 2 other mosaic experiences. One is a 2-hour mosaic experience, and the other one is a 5-hour experience, mainly geared towards visitors. I don't like to say tourists, I prefer to call them visitors. So those are the main courses that I run. And then if students want to progress, they have the opportunity through an open workshop, which I have every Tuesday morning. They can clock in, and come and use my space and advance greatly during this period. Also, there's a glass cutting for mosaics. It's another course, whole another set of materials and tools. And then I put together other interesting ones where maybe it's creating a sphere. So they create a sphere so that they can mosaic it, and so it's all about how they put the sphere together, how they prepare it for mosaicing. And then recently we've done a direct method, which is a 2-part course, which is really interesting because it's very spontaneous, and people, it takes people away from being too precious, so they have to work quite quickly. And they also during that time use more of the natural stone and the smulty. So the natural stone the Romans used, and the smulti related to the 16th century Byzantine arts. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And what about exhibitions, maybe, of
Exhibitions. I had a big exhibition in Nicosia in 2006. It took a lot of my time to prepare. So really, and then I exhibited in an exhibition after COVID. They had one in Paphos, so I had my work in that. And then I had work also at Chakra Gallery, but this is closed now. So that was on permanent display there. And I guess I have my work here.
Yes, it's like exhibition
really,
this time.
Sometimes it's better to put it in a gallery and then it looks more special.
Yes, it's your own exhibitions every day.
And then I've exhibited in private hospitals. So I've had exhibitions in private hospital.
Great.
And I've probably had others, but I can't remember.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ksenia Kudasova, and I am a student of Sharen Taylor. I enjoyed a lot her course about, which was for 6 weeks, the mosaics for the basic course for mosaics, and this one is the sign for the house, and it was made with a special reverse technique. It is made in reverse position, and it's pretty difficult, but the specific way of this technique is that it is getting very smooth on the result, and it is the most accurate technique if you want to have a smooth surface. So I think it is the most interesting technique of those which I tried here, and I enjoyed it a lot. And thanks, Sharen. I enjoyed it. This course was very nice.
Ksenia, and how many times take this sign to do?
About 30 hours, I think.
30 hours?
In some, yeah. But there are different stages when you make a sketch, then you make this drawing on a scale, then you decide with the colors, then you decide with the composition, and all of this takes time, and then it is cutting, warming up the glue, then sticking it with the glue, then waiting, grouting, smoothing, and so on.
Great, very interesting, Ksenia. And do you work in the contemporary art, and how it connects with your main course in contemporary?
Of course, this sign is super useful. It is not contemporary art. It's about placing on the front of your house as just a sign, a house sign.
But I mean, generally, your experience in mosaic.
I think that I'm going to use mosaics in my practice in contemporary art, but I haven't decided yet how is it going to be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could you please tell me about maybe do you have some crisis in your life with meaning of life? Sometimes maybe you do something but it falls down and you can't take whichever you want, or maybe you lost some meaning and very important things in your life. So some crisis.
Some crisis in my life.
Yes.
Ooh, let me see. Yeah, I suppose in a way my crisis was also related to when I separated and I had 2 very young children. And this feeling of survival, you know, and feeling that I had to be strong enough to survive and keep the family going and pay for their school education because they were in private school at the time. And so this was quite a pressure on me. But I also am a great faith believer, so I kind of quite quickly brought myself up and said, okay, don't let yourself go down. You mustn't let yourself go down. You have to go up. You have to look forward. You have to do what you've always done and do it to your best, and it will be fine. So this was one time that I found quite hard, and because I became quite positive about my work and how I'd in a way structured my life behind me, I brought that forward. So I've always managed to be positive, work hard to be positive. It's not easy, but just to keep going, and really, really believe in yourself. But the self has to have had, in some way, a good structure, because it's like seeking back to that structure and putting it forward again. And I think actually that probably comes through in my work, because I always love the journey. When I'm creating anything, I love the journey from the drawing on the paper to let's say even just the base, even before the mosaics are put on. And then when I create that shape and I've got it and it's structurally sound, and I give myself that challenge. You know, I took on a figurative, I designed a figurative mosaic, and it had to be sculptural, but it started off as paper forms. And I think, okay, I have to make this strong. It has to be strong, but the feeling has to come from also your experience with materials, because if you don't understand the strength of the material, then the final thing isn't going to be strong. So, but it's still a journey, and it's still like that's the excitement for me, because it's not one design. You know, I started to build the armature, and then I realized that the arms were heavier at the end, so I had to create something else. So it's like moving forward to another strengthening of the piece. And the final image was very satisfactory. There was another crisis, I would say, maybe the financial crisis. I was very worried during this time, but somebody once said to me, you know, sometimes for an artist in financial crisis, the wealthier, richer people are often the ones that come in, and they want to show that they're still survivors, they have money, they're doing this thing. And so, and it happened to me. I mean, it happened. I got one of my largest commissions from a dentist. So this took me through the financial crisis, and it was just, again, maybe it's my positive belief that I just keep going. My first husband used to say to me, but how do you know you can survive? Because I will. I will. I will through my work. I will do it. I will just do it. And if you keep going, you do.
What may be the main value, the main meaning in your life? What can you
The main meaning in life. It's very important to be happy in what you're doing. You must be fulfilled, really from inside. You must really feel what you're doing. I would never survive as somebody who had to go and do secretarial work or things like this. For me, it has to come from within, and then just out. Just out. And I love the outdoors. I think you can take a lot of energy from the outdoors, and it frightens me to think that all these younger people are stuck indoors with phones and computers. They need to get out. They need to get out. You know, when I go swimming in the morning and I open my eyes underwater and I see this world in front of me, it's like, please, children, go and enjoy this, because it opens your life. You know, they need to experience, to touch, to feel, to see. Beyond the phone, beyond the computer.
Great. And if somebody now lost their meaning and feel yourself very badly and awful, what you can recommend them? What to do?
I would recommend probably two things. Either you do it outside and I'll take you for a good walk or a good swim, or be creative.
Be creative.
Be creative. I mean, people, the faces on people when they touch the materials in here, and they create, and they go away taking something that with them that's tactile and they can take with them, and they did it, is amazing, amazing. I've had people. I had a family of boys that came in, and the parents they couldn't believe that they left their phones on one side, and then after 2 hours they came back and the parents saw these things they created, and they enjoyed it. They said thank you, you know, because they couldn't believe what they were creating in natural materials.
Yes.
So that was lovely, really nice. Also, people with aging difficulties, Alzheimer's and things like that, I've had them come in.
Yes.
And you know, they come and they kind of center themselves and focus themselves and do things. I've had autistic children in. This is amazing, because I got myself all planned. I thought they better have templates and everything planned for them. No, they had their own imagination. What they created was amazing. Just let people express. Use the colors you want, use the materials you want, break it how you like, cut it how you like. You know, just feel it and have your own little journey in a short time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sharen, because your example and your works and your life is really great.
Thank you.
Example, and everybody can come here and be inspired and encouraged.
I hope so.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you too.
Angie.